Mass Effect Andromeda has given us a lot to speculate about, the Ryder family, the characters we'll encounter, but after the PlayStation meeting 2016, I've been given something very interesting to speculate about. What is the purpose of the vaults exactly? Hi, this is Rima from ME Odyssey, and today I'll be looking at some possible theories to what the vaults could be for. These are purely speculation at this point, and we don't really have that much evidence, but I'll try and scrape together what I can and have a bit of fun speculating. Also, this is likely to be a two-parter, so we'll have some time to focus on each theory, so here we go. So as the title of this video suggests, this video focuses on the theory that the main purpose of the Remnant vaults are for terraforming. So what evidence do we have? Well, before we look at that, let's look at the basics. Terraforming is, quote, literally earth-shaping of a planet, moon, or other body is the hypothetical process of deliberately modifying its atmosphere, temperature, surface topography, or ecology to be similar of the environment of Earth to make it habitable for Earth-like life. Or in a broader sense, to make a habitat suitable for life when it originally wasn't so. So what's needed theoretically to terraform a planet? Well, that's dependent on what the planet needs to make it habitable for life, and in our case, human life. For human life, the bare basics we need is an atmosphere rich in oxygen, but also an ozone layer to maintain a livable temperature, as well as an atmosphere that contains other base elements such as carbon and nitrogen, water to sustain life, and a magnetosphere to protect against the solar winds. A lot of research is currently ongoing in real life, especially in regards to many of our planetary neighbours, such as Mercury, Venus, the Jovian, and the Cronian moons. So before we look at how the Remnant show sign of terraforming, let's look at some real-life theoretical methods of terraforming. Mars is a prime example of why having no atmosphere would make it nearly impossible to colonize. It's way too cold, lacks breathable air, and of course has no atmosphere to protect us. Mars is thought to have lost its atmosphere due to losing its magnetic field due to the solidifying of its core, and therefore had it stripped away by the solar winds. So how could we get it back? Most scientists agree that the easiest way to promote an atmosphere is to encourage a greenhouse effect, much like on Earth. From seemingly simple ways like building large factories that pump out CO2 gas, to melting carbon dioxide dry ice at its poles using massive mirror or satellite systems. This is a similar idea to how we could terraform Mercury. By melting liquid water found in its northern regions, you could promote plant life and then an atmosphere could slowly develop. And one of the most interesting ideas is using comets and asteroids to bring organic material and water to desolate surfaces, which has been a suggested way you could probably terraform the moon, similarly to how Earth was developed in its early stages when it was bombarded with asteroids and comets. Even the moons of Jupiter and Saturn are potential sites to be terraformed. With an abundance of ice and organic material, they could be encouraged to have atmospheres. So what's the big issue? Well, other than the fact that we lack the tech and resources to do any of these things right now, there are certain things that are kind of out of our control. For example, restarting a metal core like a planet of Mars, or even affecting the gravity of a planet or moon to make it livable for organic life. Terraforming doesn't take a huge role in Mass Effect, but there are subtle hints here and there. The moon was referenced to being terraformed in Mass Effect Revelation, but it was later stated that specific craters were domed and then terraformed locally. There are a few planets that are seemingly potential sites of terraforming, for example Antibar, Mars, and Volturno, and a few others are stated in the Codex. Others are slowly undergoing terraforming, with the emphasis on slowly, but terraforming seems to be a likely fascination in the Mass Effect universe, with many races taking an attempt at it, and others holding conventions on it, like the Asari. But other than that, there isn't really a presence felt in the Mass Effect universe. So what have we seen released from Mass Effect Andromeda that possibly shows us the Remnant have the ability to terraform? The brief teaser trailer from E3 2015 shows us a few interesting things, but it shows us a few tidbits of evidence as well. First, it shows us Daddy Ryder scrolling through different planet landscapes with vastly different environments, but the most interesting one is a planet with the molten lava and fire tornadoes. This planet looks like a terrestrial planet during the early cratering, flooding stages of planetary development, i.e. when objects hit the planet and the surface later becomes covered in molten lava. Either it's a planet in early development or undergoing rapid transformation. This trailer also shows us a brief shot of the monoliths rising from the ground, which we'll discuss a little later. Two of the posters are very interesting. First is the poster showing the same potential fiery planet that we discussed earlier, but it's the one with the Mako heading to the storming horizon, all the while surrounded by floating rocks that's really interesting. Gravity seems to be changing vastly on this planet, with the Mako staying on the ground but the rocks floating. So the question is, what is causing that? So let's start with the strongest piece of evidence, the plant and insect life in a subterranean habitat. Along with beautiful fireflies, the vines and giant flowers, Ryder makes a strange discovery when scanning one of the plants.
No sunlight, no water. They should all be dead. The source of the system lockdown may yield more information. We appear to be close.
There are some important points here. Firstly, the plants contain chlorophyll, a biomolecule found in most light-utilizing plants that absorb energy. Ryder notes that without light or water, this plant is still thriving. So how? The monoliths, as discussed earlier, seem to project into the ceiling coming from the vault beneath the ground, all the while glowing with energy. There is responsive green lighting on the walls and flowers, and the plants seem to be emerging from not the soil, but the synthetic floor. Other than the fact that green is synonymous with plant organic life, it is also, and this may be just a coincidence, the same color as the synthesis ending. As BioWare have stated that no ending will be canon for Mass Effect 3, this link is unlikely, but still interesting. The large orbital facilities that could possibly be a relay system, something we'll discuss in part 2, could also be something to do with terraforming a planet. Either something crude like the theorized mirror satellite system that we discussed earlier, or something more advanced that could change the topology of a planet. And remember when we talked about the science that we might need to jumpstart a planet in order to terraform it? Well, in real life, there's no tech for this. But look at this beam of light. It seems to be a large energy stream flowing into the planet, possibly into its core. Once it's terminated, the Remnant security acts up and starts to chase Ryder. The last point isn't a piece of evidence, but a thought. The Arks, the Pathfinders, and Ryder are trying to establish a home for humanity, running away or leaving a galaxy that couldn't sustain them. In a galaxy that's most likely foreign and hostile and resources under contention, what would be the most valuable tech? The ability to create a planet or perfect worlds to settle on? The purpose of the vaults and the Remnant are still a mystery, but it's fun to speculate, and there is some evidence to suggest the Remnant may be using their advanced tech to terraform planets rapidly. With the ability to grow plants in a subterranean light-free environment to the purpose of the monoliths, terraforming could be a very valuable resource to have, especially considering the limited technology back in the Milky Way. Meaning, considering what threats there are back home, Ryder could be trying to secure the way to save humanity. So as I said at the start of this video, this is just part 1 of a part 2 series discussing the possible uses of the vaults. Let us know what you think about this theory or what you think the vaults are really for in the comments below. Also, if you're interested to know more about the science behind terraforming, check out the articles by Universe Today and a great YouTube video by SciShow Space in the description below. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and please share this video to help the channel grow. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you for part 2.